Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about empowerment and how to discover the depth of power and resources that exist within you. First, I want to ask you a question. Do you know how freaking powerful you are? How inspirational you are? How impactful you are? And how badass you are? Every decision you make has power behind it. Your decisions can and will determine the type of day you have, the type of experiences you have, and the type of life you will have. It'll even determine the type of prosperity or the amount of it you will have. In every moment, you are creating your life with the decisions you are making. So ask yourself, are you making empowering decisions? Or are you making decisions that are denying you the life that you truly want to live? How many of you put other needs before your own needs? Followed a path because you thought you should or was told that you should? Stayed in a job or relationship that was taking away your power and your energy from you? Leaving you feeling stressed out and unfulfilled, wanting for more? You put your passions and purpose on hold, or maybe you forgot about them altogether. You know there's more, you can just feel it. You may even know what that more is, or you may have no idea. You just know that your soul wants more. Your soul wants something different. Now I want to introduce myself. I am Sherry. I am a spiritual wellness and empowerment coach. I'm also a shaman and an energy healer. And I just want to tell you a little bit about me, a little story about my life. I was in a job for almost 16 years. It was de-icing aircraft. So for those of you in the southern climates and have not flown in the northern climates in winter, it's basically spraying all the ice and snow off of the aircraft. I worked my way up to management there, and I loved it for 14 years. I loved the people that I worked with. I loved the job itself. It was seasonal. I got my summers off. Who's not, what's not to love about that? But about 2.5 years ago, things started to change. New management came in, and the whole culture there changed. But even beyond that, there was definitely a calling from my soul that was not for me anymore. And it started way more than 2.5 years ago. It probably started more like 8, 9 years ago. But that job was so comfortable, and the security was there, the comfort was there. I was super, super good at what I did. I I felt like I was of service there because I did a lot of the HR roles for my station. So I was taking care of the employees, which is something that, was one of my passions. But still, my soul was saying, there's more. You are here for so much more. So last November, I took a leap and I left the job. I'm single, I live alone, I have no backup, I have no one to help me pay my bills or anything like that. I thought, oh, it'd be easy to get another job that maybe was less demanding on my time, because in the winter I would work like 60 to 70 hours a week. So, but then I had a reading with a local medium, and she said, all I see is your spirit guides blocking you from a new job. And I'm just like, well, then my spirit guides need to bring me resources, right? Because unfortunately in this country, or in this world, money is a huge thing that everyone needs. So I continue to apply for jobs. I had interviews. Never before in my life have I not gotten a job I interviewed for. I've had 18 interviews. I have gotten one job offer, and that seemed even more soul-sucking than the place that I just left. So of course I wasn't going to take that one. And I just felt the universe tugging at me, saying, you're not supposed to work for someone else. You're not supposed to work for someone else. So in December, I took another leap and I hired a high-level business coach, which when I had no money coming in was definitely a very uncomfortable thing for me. But I was trusting what my soul was calling out. I was trusting my intuition. I was trusting what I felt was what I was supposed to do. Not, I felt that that's what my soul wanted me to do. And that's what my soul wanted. So here I am, and I have definitely found other ways to bring those resources in, and it's really been good. And it's still a trusting process. Obviously, I'm still building. So, I've been wanting to get my coaching going for probably I've been coaching a few clients here, a few clients there, over the past probably 3 years. So I've had the clients, but never a steady stream of them, and never enough to support the lifestyle that I have now or the one that I want to get into. So it was all just a leap of faith that I had to take because my soul wanted it. I knew my purpose was something else. It may have been that for 14 years, but now I had to move on and find a new purpose, one more in alignment with my soul passions, and what I actually came here to do. And I want you to know that you can create a life of fulfillment for yourself as well. No matter what your age is. I'm almost 57. So doing this late in life, I did think, time's running out. It's too late for me. I'm going to have to work this job for the rest of my life. But that's not true. Those are all just limiting beliefs that we tell ourselves so that we can stay in that safe place. We can stay in that comfortable place, or we can stay where we're at, because sometimes we think that's all we deserve is whatever we have is all we deserve, and that's not true either. So a lot of my clients think that time is running out, and I had that belief for a long time until I no longer had it. I decided something different. So it's not too late to go after what you want. It's not too late to live a life in your passions and in your purpose. It's not too late to make a difference. I'm here to tell you it's not too late. And it's not too late until your soul leaves the current meat suit that you're in, right? Until that day, it's not too late. Another thing my clients are concerned about is that their body won't be able to do the things that they want it to do, as they age. And that also is a limiting belief, because there's proof out there of people at whatever age doing the things that they love to do. So it's never too late for that either. So I'm sure you've heard the term before, the power of decision. Well, the same can be said for indecision. There's power there too. And of course, indecision leads to inaction, because if you're not making those decisions that you need to make to get you steps closer to the life that you do want to live, then you're not going to take action on anything, because you won't have plans, you won't have goals, you won't have anything set in place to let you know what those next steps should be. And inaction leads to living the same patterns and the same cycles over and over again. Again, I was in that for a long time. Even once my soul said, it's time to leave this job, I stayed there. And it didn't get any better. It actually just got continually worse and worse until I decided I couldn't do it anymore. So how about you guys? Do any of you guys feel stuck? Well, that would be the power of decision. You decided you were stuck. Your brain is a goal-achieving machine, and it makes sure you stay stuck because that's just the decision that you made. To get unstuck, all you have to do is make a different decision. So why do people have such a problem with indecision? A really big reason for that is the fear of failure. You may be comfortable with where you're at, or you may not be comfortable at all, but you're staying in that place that's known. Even though it may not even be comfortable, it's less uncomfortable than stepping into the unknown for a lot of people. Because stepping out can be scary. What if it doesn't turn out like you planned it to turn out? What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? That all runs through our brain. We're human. It's human nature for that, because our brain wants us to be safe. So we come up with all these things of why we shouldn't step out and live that powerful life of purpose that we want to live. But, ask yourself, what if it turns out better than you planned? I know my situation did. And what if the way to that one thing is that you had to fail at something? So you may think you want to go down this road and you step out a little bit and you failed a little bit, but it opened your eyes to something else. And then you're like, wow, I thought I wanted this, but this is actually even more in alignment with who I am and what my soul wants. So stepping out and getting uncomfortable, it can lead you to exactly where you want it to go, or it may lead you to something even better, something that you never even imagined, something you didn't even know was out there. I mean, how exciting is that? And what if you were meant to go through a little bit of struggle to learn some valuable lessons so that you could come out the other side standing in your power? I know right now, and not as much as when I first left, but the struggle is real. There's a little bit of struggle. There's a lot of uncomfortability, of the unknown, of, my God, what did I do? What's going to happen? Where do I go next? What do I do? How do I accomplish this? How do I get this? But it's so that struggle and that problem solving skill and that seeing what's out there has definitely opened up a whole new world for me. And truly, the only failure is not even trying in the first place. And what if you decided that there are no failures? There's only lessons. And if you're not living a life of purpose, joy, and fulfillment, then you're not there yet. That's what we came here to do. We came here to live that life of purpose. And yes, maybe we had to learn a lot of lessons along the way. And that's why at I'll be 57 in May. So at almost 57, I had to learn all of those lessons in order for me to step into my purpose in a powerful way, knowing all the things I learned along the way, learning all those lessons, coming out of those lessons better than I was going into those lessons. That I have been through some really tough struggles, and I actually look back at them and I'm grateful for them, even the most horrible ones, because I came out the other side a better person. So if you are not in your life of purpose, joy, and fulfillment, you're just not there yet. I already stated that your brain is a goal-achieving machine. And the thing about machines is they can be reprogrammed. It all comes down to mindset. It truly does. I'm sure you've all heard the Napoleon Hill quote, "What the mind can conceive and believe, the mind achieves." That can work for the positive, but as I already shared, it can also work for the negative, because the mind is a powerful goal-achieving machine. What you think, you become. So what do you think about you? Do you have those thoughts like, I'm amazing, I'm powerful, I can do this? Because all of that is true. Or are you thinking those lies like you're not good enough? You'll never have what you want. That life isn't for you, which is something I used to believe. All those things used to be me. I did not think the life I wanted was for me. I thought I had to work the job, the job, until the day I died, barely having ends meet, squeaking out a few vacations a year, if even that. But I'm here to assure you that if you crave it, if your soul craves it, then that thing is for you. It is for you. The universe is not out here having you crave things that are not for you. It's really not. And I use the term universe, but it's whatever your higher power is. To me, universe, God, source, the creator, all of that, infinite intelligence, all of that is the same thing to me. So whatever it is, if you don't use the universe, whatever it is, your higher power is not out here having you crave things that are not for you. But really, you must decide and you must believe that it's for you. There's no way around that. You have to know it without a doubt. In your mind and in your soul. You have to decide first, and you have to believe. How is this quote for, does this ring any bells? I want to step into my passion and purpose, but I don't have the time, but I'm too old, but I don't have the resources. But, there can't be any buts. I could have said all of those things when I quit the job. I could have said, I am too old to start over. I'm too old to do this. I'm too old to build from nothing. Because trust me, I had nothing. I didn't have the resources. The only source I had was my mind. And it's very, very powerful. It can take you wherever you decide you want it to take you. It's huge. So I want to do a little exercise. So hopefully you have pen and paper nearby. If not, you can pause this and go grab some. But I want you to think about and write down if it's a line for you to write it down. Writing down is a very powerful exercise, especially when we get into the last part of this one. But I want you to think about where you are now. And then I want you to think about, and I especially want you to write this part, where do you want to be? Because if you don't know where you want to be or where you want to go, then how can you get there? You don't just go to Google Maps and say, take me somewhere, because it's going to be like confused. And that's how we work as well. We have to know what the destination is in order for us to map the way there. You just do. So where do you want to go? And that could be anything. It could be, right now I'm on my weight loss journey. So where do I want to be? I want to be at this, by this time I want to be here, by this time I want to be here, but my ultimate goal is this. So you set the ultimate goal, and then you can set smaller steps to get there. You may be renting right now and you want to buy a house. You write that down. Write down where you want your house, what kind of house you want. You could even write down if you want to live alone, if you want to live, who you are going to be living with, how many bedrooms you want. You don't have to be there's a couple different schools of thought on manifesting. Some people will say you have to be specific. I want a 3-bedroom house on 40 acres of land in the southwest part of whatever state. You have to be very specific, and I want it green and a 2-car garage. And some people manifest the other way. Actually, people manifest both ways. They manifest the very specific, or they manifest as in, I would like a 3-bedroom house at least a 3-bedroom house on some land in a place that's in alignment, where my neighbors are going to be good neighbors or in alignment with the things that I'm in alignment with, or whatever it is. You can just have more of an overarching umbrella type list of things where, then the universe can show you different things. And then if it's not exactly, it may be better than what that specific list you wrote would have been. You may say, I want this house at this price and it has 3 bedrooms and this. Well, maybe instead of that, you could say 3+ bedrooms, and then the universe gives you a 4-bedroom, if that's something that you could use, So it can bring you something better then, as long as you leave room for that and you're not really specific, and you can always be specific and then say, or something better, or something more in alignment, or something whatever. But you have to know what you want and where you want to go in order to get there, basically. Okay, so now that you thought about where you are now and where you want to be, I want you to think about the but. I want a 3-bedroom house in the country, but what comes after that? Or I want to start my own coaching business, but what comes after that? Whatever comes after that is the inner conflict in the middle of where you are now and where you want to be. And I can almost guarantee you that whatever that inner conflict is, whatever that but is a limiting belief that you picked up somewhere along the way. When I was a kid, my dad used to say, we're just Morgans. My last name is Morgan. So he said it so many times, well, we're just Morgans. If I said, I would want this, talk about my future or whatever, we're just Morgans. And I always took it as, well, we're just Morgans. We ain't gonna have shit. We're never gonna have shit. We're just Morgans. We're just gonna have to settle for whatever it is we get. And I believed that for a really long time. And all the while, my brothers are living way closer to the lifestyle that I want, and they're Morgans too. So why I didn't see, well, they're getting it, why can't I? We're all Morgans, But it was a limiting belief that I didn't know I had until I dug in and spewed it out and learned that that's probably what was holding me back, because I didn't think I deserved any of that. So whatever that inner conflict is most likely a limiting belief that someone else said to you, or someone else gave you, or you picked up because you saw something that wasn't your truth. And limiting beliefs are not truth. So one thing I help my clients do is dig up those limiting beliefs and make a different decision, because that's really all you have to do. Is I decided, instead of I'm just a Morgan, I turned that into my power statement of I am Morgan. And that means I am powerful and I can create whatever it is that I want to create. So that's how I turned that one around. And almost immediately, this was probably about 8 years ago, and almost immediately my income jumped like by 25% at the job I was at, which I was like, went from 1 year's taxes to the next year's taxes, and I was like, holy shit. I guess I got rid of that limiting belief. And it's simple. Not necessarily easy, but it's simple. All right. So this is the exercise that I do for the limiting beliefs. So you come up with that inner conflict, you come up with that limiting belief, you come up with a decision that's not true, like a decision you made that is not true. And one way you know it's a limiting belief or a decision that's not true, if it feels bad in your body, if it's constricting, if you say that out loud and it just feels gross and constricting and not good, then you know it's not the truth, right? Because your body, if anyone's familiar with muscle testing or any of those kind of things, your body will tell you what's truth and what's not truth. So if it doesn't feel good, if that decision or that belief does not feel good, then that's not your truth, and that's not in alignment with your soul and what your soul wants. So, like I said, you think about that. So we're just Morgans. We don't deserve anything like that. Now you decide the opposite. And like I said, my statement was, I am Morgan. And that means power, and that means creation, and that means that I deserve everything that everyone else deserves. So that was the different decision that I made. And then once you make that opposite decision, then you go find proof of that new decision. Well, my proof was, well, my brothers have all of it. You know, the proof was during my life, there were times where I got, very good things that I wanted to bring into my life. On other ones, you may say you're on a fitness journey. Like I said, I started mine today. Well, at 56, post-menopause, people always said to me, or people, you'd read or people would say, oh, after menopause, it's harder to lose weight. And I was like, nah, no, it's not. No, it's not. Well, it is, but it's not impossible. So I may have had a belief like, well, it's harder for me to lose weight now. And then my new decision would be, as long as I'm following what I know that I know, then it's possible, right? It may be harder, but it's possible. So I don't have the limiting belief, well, it's too hard. Why do I even try? Now I have, it's possible. And my proof is, there was a time back in 2012 where I lost 40 pounds in 12 weeks. And I had, gained a since then because I didn't follow the same nutrition that I had then. So my proof here is I've already done it. I've already lost that weight before. I knew how to do it. Is it a little harder? Maybe, maybe not. But I need to get back on what I already know. I'm a certified personal trainer and health coach. I already know. I just haven't been putting it into my lifestyle. I haven't been, making it happen. I've been choosing other things. And I may have been choosing other things because I did try to lose a little and it was harder. So now I'm like, oh, it's too hard. But the proof was already there. Plus, I could look outside for proof. There's a lady on Instagram, her name is Joan. She lost a lot of weight. I think she was in her 60s, and she lifts weights now, and she's on Instagram. Like, she's a personal trainer now for other people, and she didn't start till she was in her 60s. So the proof is out there. The proof is in me, and the proof is out there. So that's all you have to do. Old decision that's limiting you, turn it around. Even if you don't necessarily believe it at the moment you write it, you're going to keep putting that into your mind. You're going to keep putting it into mind. And when you find the proof for it, it's going to reinforce that is true. So that's an exercise you can do with anything, any kind of limiting belief. When I first did this exercise, I had probably 6 or 7 things on my page. And I did this back in December. I went in today, you look at it all the time, but today I was like, you know what? How many of these do I still have? How many of these negative beliefs or these beliefs that are holding me back do I still have? And when I went down the list, I don't have one of them anymore. I believe the new decision because I decided it, and then I found proof for it, and I kept that forefront of my mind. I read it every morning. I read the new belief and the evidence every morning, and now they're not there anymore. So now, today, I'm going to write to see what else comes up. Maybe there's some more limiting beliefs that need to come out. Like I said, that's exercise you can do whenever you want. Oh, my little video is blocking the last word here, but this should say there is no status quo. And that's what I want you to know. I want you to know that there is no status quo, not for your life, not for aging, and not for all those things you're supposed to do. We decide. We decide what our life is going to turn out like. We decide how we age. We decide every single thing in our life. We decide. And people will say, I've heard people say, well, that's how it's always been done, or that's just the way it is. That's, and we believe that stuff. There's so many examples of people going outside the box and proving that there is no status quo in any of this. You do not, in 2012, I found out that my dad's family had a lot of heart disease. And my decision at that time was that is not for me. And that's actually when I lost the 40 pounds. But I made different decisions. I made decisions not to, I researched it. I looked at things that could prevent it. I looked at things that could cause it. And then I used my own intuition as well, because all the information out there isn't necessarily true. You can do all the research in the world, but if you're researching incorrect information, and then you'll research, and then this website will say this, and this website will say the opposite or something almost the opposite, and they conflict. So you have to use your own intuition, your own body to tell you what it is. Again, your body will tell you what's true and what's aligned for you. Because what's aligned for me and what's true for me does not necessarily mean it's what's aligned and true for you. Just like aging, we're told that we're not going to be able to do some things when we get older. And I call bullshit on that one. I really do. The decisions that you make today will determine what you're able to do then. Here's some examples. Ernestine Shepard. Now she's 86, the lady in the blue bathing suit. How fragile does she look? 86, we're supposed to be fragile and almost needing to be taken care of, or already, years of being taken care of. Does she look like she's fragile? That she's going to need someone to carry her groceries in? And she didn't start bodybuilding until she was 56. She didn't start until she was 56. She didn't believe all that bullshit about how you're supposed to age. In 1941, Rosalind Franklin, here in the middle, she was at the University of Cambridge when women were not recognized as full members of the university. They were not entitled to a degree or even allowed in the cafeteria. But she followed her passion, she followed her purpose. She here is shown working on what DNA is and how to use it. Of course, her research allowed men who followed to crack the code on the double helix structure, but she decided that she wanted to be a part of that. Whether she was known for it or not, she followed her passion. She followed what her soul was telling her to do. They went on to win a Nobel Prize. She's still known for it. I believe she was not part of the Nobel Prize winners, but, that's not something she was concerned about. And this beautiful lady on the right, Junko is her name. She was the first woman to ever climb Mount Everest. She faced sexism at every turn, defying cultural expectations, especially in her home country of Japan, where women are expected to be quiet homemakers who tend to their families and husbands. Certainly not pioneering adventurers who broke world records. But she didn't care. She set that goal and she's like, I'm climbing Mount Everest. I don't even know if she was like, yeah, I'm gonna be the first woman, but she said, I'm gonna climb it. I can tend to my homemaking and my husband and my family. I can go climb Mount Everest and then I can come back and be with them again. And now I'm a world record holder and the first woman to climb Mount Everest, right? These are all things we can do. All we have to do is decide. You have to find what that purpose, what that passion is in you. And the road to fulfillment is the road of your passions and purpose. That's what I believe anyway. So these women aren't even close to being about what they're supposed to be doing or the life they're supposed to be living, right? They're deciding what they want. And the power they have, the power anyone has that has done big and small things, you have that power too. You know, I say what you are supposed to be doing is living the life your soul is calling you to live. That's what you're supposed to be doing. You're not really supposed to isn't even a word we should be having. But to me, that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're going after that life of purpose. You're going after the passions. Your passions were put with you for a reason. Not for you to want to do those things, but for you to do those things. Every one of us have a medicine that we bring to the world. Every single one of us do. And someone out there needs your medicine. Whether it's being an example or whether it's going to serve hungry children and wherever, you know, it doesn't have to be something where you're out there personally or physically affecting all these people, but it could be, like I said, how Junko, she's an inspiration because she is the first woman to climb Mount Everest, and she faced a lot of obstacles to be able to say that she did that, to be able to go do that. She stepped out anyway in that difficulty with no support, probably none at all, hardly any at all. I don't know, you know, so her medicine was showing people what's possible, especially women. And that's the way to experience a life of fulfillment. Like I said, going after those passions, going after your purpose. And the power has always been with you. Don't you think it's time you regain access to it? You alone are the key to the change you want to make in yourself, in your life, and in the world. And again, we must be clear on what we want and set the intention. Send it out to the universe or whatever you call your higher power, whatever one you believe in. Set your attention out to them. Write it down. Speak it out. Put it out there. How can you get somewhere when you don't even know where you're going? The first step to clarity is taking the first step. It's like driving in the fog. If you're out and it's foggy, do you just pull over to the side of the road and sit there for hours and hours waiting for the fog to lift? No. You may be careful and you may go slow, but you make progress, and then more of the road appears, and then you make a little more progress, and the more the road appears. And you just keep driving, and as you're driving, following that path, following that road, more of the road appears in the fog, and that's how you gain clarity. You're not going to sit here and just say, okay, I want to start XYZ business, and then all of a sudden drops in, or you get an email with everything you need to do to start that business from start to finish. Step number 1, step number 2. That's not how it works, you know. You step out, you get uncomfortable, and then the next thing appears. It becomes clearer and clearer and clearer what it is you're supposed to do. And again, you listen to your body, you do muscle testing, you follow your intuition. You just go. You just go. And don't be so stuck in the process that you miss the curves that will inevitably come. Like I said, you could, if you set your intention to go down this path right here, and then there's a fork in the road, and this one looks like it goes to everything that you said you wanted, but this one over here looks more appealing, and it feels more aligned, and it feels more adventurous, and it feels like that is the way to success, then veer that way. It's okay to change course. It's okay to change course if you feel in alignment with that. Don't change course or turn around because you get afraid. You get afraid and you do it anyway because you know that your soul is telling you that that's where you're supposed to go. Now you can ask yourself, like, what's the cost of not living your soul purpose already? The cost may be that you're living from a place of fear or lack or scarcity, unhappiness. That's what you're manifesting in your life when you don't follow what it is that you feel you're supposed to do. Because you're not living in your joy, you're not living in your fulfillment, you're not living in your purpose. And of course, you can feel fulfilled here and there, you can feel joy here and there. But if you're having depression, anxiety, anything like that, it's probably your soul telling you, not always, but probably your soul telling you that you're not following it the way it wants you to. And you may feel pressure about not being all that you can be, or maybe you internalize things which lead to, these are more costs of not doing what you were sent here to do, what you chose to come here to do. You feel pressure about not being all that you can be, feeling like there's more out there for you, feeling like you're not living up to what it is that you came here to do. Or maybe you internalize things which leads to the cost of feeling like a failure, like you're inadequate, like you can't get it right, or that you're not meant to live a life of purpose. Of course you are. Of course you're meant to live a life of purpose. What's it costing you not to step out? What's it costing you not to follow that soul calling? What's it costing you to push that little voice down and say, no, 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 that's not for us? What is that costing you? So I want to ask you this. Are you ready to take back control of your life? Are you ready to step into your power? Are you ready to create that life you've dreamed about for so long? Some things to ask yourself. So why today? Why is today a good day? Why is right now a good time? Well, there's two reasons. As a shaman, I studied the medicine wheel for over 2 years. And in the medicine wheel, each direction in the medicine wheel is a season. And the spring season, which today happens to be the spring equinox, it happens at 4:24 Central Daylight Time, p.m., 4:24 p.m. So today's the spring equinox, and the spring is the time for you to start planting seeds. You decide what it is that you want to harvest, what it is you want to bring into your life. And the spring is the time to plant those seeds, to nurture those seeds, to water those seeds. So the New Year's Day is not a good day to start resolutions. The winter time is the time of going within, of rest, of recovery, of connecting back to yourself. The springtime, the spring equinox is a perfect day to set new, resolutions, or, decide what it is you want to bring in. I don't even like to use the word resolutions, but deciding what it is you want to harvest and bring into your life. What changes do you want to make? What transformations do you want? What are you ready to let go of? This is the time to decide all that. And if you're not watching this in the spring, it still can be, you're not seeing this in the wrong time. You're seeing this video anytime is the right time, basically, right? we don't all have the same timing. But for the spring equinox is the perfect time to plant those seeds once you decide what it is you want. You know, decide it, write it down, speak it out, set your intentions, and then action, right? Not only that, but tomorrow, Tuesday, March 31st at 12:23 p.m. Central Daylight Time is the new moon. So what, Sherry, is what you said? Or maybe you didn't. But the new moon is a perfect time to start something new. So even if you're watching this in April, you know, the April new moon is maybe the 20th, but it's right around there. But the new moon is a time to start something new. Again, to set your intentions for what you want to call in. The new moon, we usually go like 6 months, what you want to call in the next 6 months. The medicine wheel, it's what you want to call in the next year. So you can pick whatever one of that. You could even pick, you know, what you want to call in the next month, whatever it is, whatever feels aligned with you. But the fact that we have the spring equinox today, so actually tomorrow on the new moon is the first full day of the spring equinox. So that's like a double whammy. And those energies are all working together to help you in your transformation, to help you in creating something new, in helping you figure out which way to go. Back when I lost 40 pounds in 12 weeks, obviously I knew about the new moon, full moon. I didn't really know too much about the energies of it back then. So when I, learned more, I was like, because I started that nutrition plan, that new lifestyle on my dad's death day, which was January 23rd, 2012. So when I learned about the new moon cycles and how it's, you want to start new things on the new moon, you'll have that energy behind it. I went back and I was curious, that was a very, very successful thing it was a very, very successful weight loss, fat loss, get fit thing that happened. So I'm kind of curious, what was that on? It was on a new moon. It was the exact day of the new moon. And I was just like, holy shit, it's true. It's true. So there's my evidence. Not that you have to start on a new moon, but you have that extra power energy. The moon affects us. It affects the tides, the water. What are we? We're mostly water. So it does affect us. So those energies help us in the pursuit of what we want to bring in, the new thing that we want to start. So might as well take advantage of that too. So, on the spring equinox of 2024, which is in a year from today, will you look back on the last 365 days and say, thank God I spent my time doing that? Or damn, I wish I would have spent my time doing that. Because you can literally transform your entire life in a year. You can do it less than that. Like I said, 12 weeks, I lost 40 pounds and went from where I was to a very fit, strong, fast runner. I didn't run. And then by the end of that, I was taking first place in my division in races because I'm like, let me try one of these 5Ks. And I took the very first one I did, I took first place in my division. And I was blown away. And of course, then I got hooked. Can I do it again? Can I do it again? But anyway, you can transform. So if I can transform that in 12 weeks, just think what you could transform in 4 times that amount of time, in a full year. You can transform everything. And I mean everything. And if you don't believe me, go look for evidence. People do it. People have done it. They've transformed their entire life in a year. It's possible. It's possible for me, and it's possible for you. It's really possible for you. So today, what I'm offering is a 40-minute discovery call. On that call, I did say free, so a free 40-minute discovery call. And on that call, we'll talk about any challenges or frustrations you may have. We'll talk about where you are now, where you want to get to. We'll talk about that conflict in the middle. We'll get to the bottom of what's holding you back. We'll talk about ways to break those patterns and to move you closer to a life that you will love. We'll talk about getting you well onto living a fulfilling and empowering life. So I'll put my link to my calendar in the comments, and I'll create a new post in the group with the link to it. And then it'll have my availability through the end of the month shown there. So, and if you can't make it this month and you still want to do the discovery call, just send me a DM and I can get working on my calendar for the first few weeks in April. But it's definitely through the end of this month. We have 10 days left in this month, and we can get you on a call, get you on. So if you are in a place where you feel stuck, or you feel like your life isn't going where you know it could be going, or where you want it to be going, or where your soul is calling it to go, jump on the discovery call with me. It's free. It's free. So I would love to talk to each and every one of you. I would love to help you empower yourself, because that's what it is. It's not me empowering you. It's not me doing any of it except for helping you bring that stuff to the surface so we can get rid of it. I'm also an energy healer. So in my programs, energy healing is built into it, if that's something that's aligned with you. If it's not, then we don't do it, So yeah, get on a call with me and let's see where it can take you. I thank you so much for watching, and I really, really hope I'll talk to you soon.